She wasn't a thief. She wasn't greedy. All she did was open the fridge and it cost her everything. The billionaire didn't even let her explain. But when he found out why she did it, he cried like a child. What he discovered shattered his cold heart forever. Asterisk welcomes a story sphere, where every tale uncovers a truth you'll never forget. Stories like this move your heart. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to Story Sphere so you never miss a moment of real emotion. In Quiet Heroism, Chapter 1. The cold mansion asterisk Ethan Barrett didn't build his fortune by being soft. He was known on Wall Street as the Ice King. Brilliant, unstoppable, and ruthless. He had turned a struggling tech startup into a global empire. He had more money than he could ever spend, and more silence in his life than anyone should have to bear. Asterisk, his mansion was the size of a hotel. It's perched high above the Pacific Ocean. But it wasn't a home it was a fortress. His parents were long gone, his siblings estranged, and his romantic life non-existent. His only companions were his staff, each trained to be invisible. Among them was Maria. Right. She had only been working there for 2 weeks. Mid-40s, quiet, polite, and always early. She wore faded shoes, kept her hair tied in a neat bun, and rarely spoke, unless spoken to. Ethan barely noticed her. To him, staff were names on a payroll, not people with lives or stories. He only cared that things were cleaned on time, windows sparkled, and his rules were followed. Asterisk, and the most sacred rule? No one touched the fridge. Asterisk, Ethan had a private chef who prepared every meal to specific nutritional codes. He detested the idea of fingerprints on the chrome surface or anything out of place inside. The fridge was his personal space. Asterisk. So when he walked into the kitchen that day and saw Maria standing there, their hand inside the fridge, everything stopped. Asterisk, she froze. Her hand clutched a small plastic bag containing a sandwich and some grapes. When their eyes met, she looked like a child caught stealing. Asterisk, what do you think you're doing? Ethan's voice was sharp, cold, unforgiving. Asterisk, I'm sorry. She stammered. He didn't wait for her to finish. You're fired, he said. Pack your things and leave immediately. But sir, I wasn't. I said now. Her eyes filled with a pain that he didn't notice or didn't care to. She placed the sandwich back carefully and walked out. No argument, no excuses, just silence. Asterisk, Ethan stood there, proud of his discipline. Rules were rules. If you let one person break them, everything fell apart. That's how he had built his empire-uncompromising structure. Asterisk, but that night, as he poured himself a glass of wine and looked out over the ocean, something felt wrong. Maria hadn't looked guilty. She had looked desperate. Asterisk, he tried to shake it off. But her expression haunted him. Asterisk, the next day, curiosity got the better of him. He called the staffing agency. What do you know about Maria? He asked. Asterisk, Maria? Ortiz. The woman on the phone replied. Lovely woman. She's a grandmother raising her grandson. Sweet kid. We were worried when she lost the job. She really needs the income for his treatments. Asterisk, Ethan's hand tightened around his phone. Treatments? Asterisk, yes. The boy's sick. Leukemia, I believe. He hung up, silent. That evening, he asked his driver to take him to her address. It was a narrow street lined with crumbling apartment buildings. When he knocked on the door, it opened slowly. Maria stood there, still wearing the same shoes, but her eyes looked even more tired. Asterisk, Mr. Barrett? She asked, confused. I need to speak with you, he said. Inside, the apartment was spotless, but worn. The wallpaper peeled at the edges. There was no television, no decorations, just necessities. In the corner, a small boy lay sleeping on a thin mattress, an oxygen tube across his nose, a teddy bear clutched to his chest. Asterisk, Ethan looked at Maria. Why were you in the fridge? She hesitated. Then, with a cracked voice, she said, David hadn't eaten in 2 days. The medicine makes him nauseous. I asked for grapes. I thought maybe if I could give him just a few. I wasn't stealing. I just didn't want him to cry again from hunger. Asterisk Ethan stood there, heart splitting open. He had fired a woman trying to feed a sick child, and she hadn't fought back. She hadn't blamed him. She had just walked away with dignity. That night, Ethan didn't sleep. He kept seeing the boy's tiny hands, Maria's tired eyes, and the sandwich she never took. Chapter 2. Redemption in silence. Asterisk, the next morning. Ethan made 3 phone calls. Asterisk first, to the agency. He asked them to reinstate Maria immediately with a higher salary and a promotion to household manager. Asterisk second. To his lawyers, he had them draft medical coverage papers for Maria and her grandson, to be fully covered by his personal foundation. Asterisk and third. To his team at Barrett Corp. Asterisk, he told them they would be opening a new community initiative, a fund for single grandparents. Raising sick children, it would be named David's Grace. Asterisk, when Maria returned to the estate 2 days later, she was unsure. But Ethan greeted her personally, something he had never done for a staff member before. Asterisk, you're not here to clean, he said. You're here to lead. From now on, the kitchen is open to you, completely. She looked stunned. And, David, he'll get everything he needs, Ethan added. I promise. Asterisk, her hands trembled as she whispered, thank you. But Ethan wasn't done changing. Something inside him had shifted. Asterisk, he began asking about his staff, listening when they spoke. He noticed when someone was tired, when someone looked worried. He didn't just live in his house anymore. He lived with the people in it. Asterisk, David visited the mansion often. The little boy who once slept on a mattress now had his own room with bright blue walls, race car bed sheets, and a telescope by the window. The staff adored him. Ethan read him bedtime stories sometimes. Stories about astronauts and lions and heroes who didn't wear capes but carried kindness like a sword. Months passed. David's health improved. Maria smiled more. And Ethan's home finally felt like one. Asterisk, one evening, while watching the sunset, Maria brought him a letter. Asterisk, David wrote this for you, she said. The letter was written in shaky handwriting. It said, Asterisk, thank you for giving my grandma a reason to smile again. I love you like a grandpa. I hope your heart never gets cold again. Ethan wept, not loudly, but fully. Asterisk, because for the first time, he understood something money had never taught him. Asterisk, true wealth isn't measured by what you own, but by what you give. And sometimes opening one fridge door can open a man's heart forever.